Enable. Centrestage.
Hello and welcome to Centrestage, our special presentation where we introduce you to growth stories of companies from India's diverse corporate landscape. Today, our focus is on RAO IIT, one of the premier players in the coaching space. To understand their rise despite the odds, let's speak to two key players. Vinay Kumar, MD and CEO, RAO IIT, and Sandeep Thapliyal, MD and CEO, Avendus NBFC. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Sandeep, let me start with you on the broad numbers perspective. You know, India's private coaching industry was projected to grow to $70 billion last year. So update some of those statistics for us, and what are the key opportunities, key growth opportunities in this space that you see?
I think, from our perspective, when we looked at this whole coaching space, while evaluating the opportunity to sort of co-partner with RAO IIT, we figured out India is a very large coaching market. In fact, by some estimates, it's almost 50% of the global coaching market, which is at about $105 billion. And, we were $45 billion by some estimates in 2016, growing at some 30-35% growth rate, which basically means that we should be around $70 billion. Now, a lot of that business is really unorganized, and there are very few formalized, channels of providing coaching. RAO being one of them, and there are a few other, companies which are making an attempt to, corporatize the entire coaching segment. Right? We think there is a huge shift which is going to happen from unorganized to organized, which is going to lead to tremendous growth opportunities for some of these, companies, and especially RAO, which is at the forefront of trying to provide a very consistent coaching experience to all students across the length and, breadth of the country. And the interesting thing that we liked about, RAO was taking away, that star faculty, concept, which is something which plays a big role when you're looking at a regional or a small-time coaching institute in some city and town, right? The whole focus in terms of building a platform which is providing consistent, uniform service to students is something that really got us excited. And I think in that sense, there is huge opportunity. And we will see, some of these businesses grow in a significant manner in the next 3 to 5 years.
All right. Yeah. Now, when I'm coming to you, what is the share of RAO IIT in this recession-proof industry, especially as incomes grow? Now, there was an ASSOCHAM report which I read where the growth rate was pegged at around 35% year on year, which is a tremendous growth rate for an industry where we don't see any stopping as of now, because education is a key requirement. In this space, where does RAO IIT fit in terms of revenue and other numbers?
RAO IIT Academy, I would say that if you see last 5 years in total, we have grown at a cumulative rate of around 40 to 50% in that average growth rate per year had been. Also, today we are 10,000 plus students altogether in the system. We are at about close to 100 CR revenue, and we are anticipating. The interesting thing is we have done all the hard work by which we wanted a partnership with Avendus, and because of Avendus coming to us, we have got that steam today, and we have expanded at locations like Delhi. Earlier we were not there, so last year we expanded. Now we are very active in Kota, which is our the branch from where we started, and we have also started in Lucknow, Patna, plus Pune, Nagpur, and Vapi Silvassa in Gujarat, and so many other cities we intend to start in the coming year. Okay. So the idea is that we have, whatever rate we have grown, definitely we also agree that there is potential that we can grow till about 100 to 200% year on year for 3 to 5 years in this space.
Even when you started, did you figure that this would be the kind of growth rate that you would encounter in this space? Take us a bit about, take us through a bit of the history of how things came about.
We were started by our founder, Dr. B.V. Rao sir, in Kota, and because of his daughter, Yamini Rao, we started in Mumbai in 2008. After that, because of Yamini Rao, I joined it in 2009, and she happens to be my wife, and because of her I was in a corporate sector. I shifted to this coaching, and we tried to do it in a professional way. So we figured out what are the challenges, and those challenges were addressed by us, and we are transforming it in a scalable business model, in an ethical business model. That is what we intend.
All right. And as you mentioned, challenges, there are a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to the education sector. For example, a teacher shortage or infrastructure issues. Take us through some of these challenges that you have faced, especially in such a high growth industry, and how you have dealt with those challenges.
I would like to state, like when we landed up initially in Mumbai, so the basic thing which came forward was that the kids don't work so hard to get for IITs in Mumbai. So we figured out the reason. The reason was that the students were going to school, colleges, and they were getting tired, and other things, other type of support was needed for the students. So we could understand their problem. We brought in a solution where we could integrate our studies, our pattern with the school and the college curriculum effectively. We brought good teachers from all over India, and then effectively we could create this myth, because if you see, when we landed in 2008-9, there were hardly about 150-200 students going in IITs. AIIMS and all, hardly any student used to go from a city like Mumbai, where people used to say it's a financial capital. How will kids study so much? But last year itself, about 1100 plus students, all total qualified for the advanced, out of which about 390 plus students are from RAO IIT.
Okay. All right. Let's expand on that in the context of the deal which happened earlier this year between you two, which is that 55 crore or 8.6 million of structured debt which was arranged. What was the financing rationale there, and what are the opportunities that you foresaw there?
So let me just step back and talk about Avendus and who we are and how do we evaluate opportunities and what the mandate is, right? So we are basically a mid-market firm, right? I mean, which basically means that we are looking at, and we've been doing it for the last 20 years as a wider Avendus franchise, which is investment banking, advisory, corporate finance, helping some of these businesses raise equity money and taking these stories to the investor community to help them realize their potential. The NBFC came into being about 16 months ago. And the whole mandate of the NBFC is again to look at these mid-market businesses, see how we can be their trusted advisors and financial partners, and help them at various stages of their growth plans over the next 3-5 years, and make sure that they are able to realize their potential. So when we looked at So first we looked at the overall industry landscape, and we found that to be very, interesting and attractive. And then we looked at the company, right, and the way they were approaching the whole business. And I think I must say, the company is approaching this with a very fresh, concept, which is to make this into truly a corporate, right? As I mentioned earlier, and take away the whole staff faculty concept, which is usually there in some of these coaching institutes, right? And provide seamless, uniform experience to all these students who come, and help them achieve their outcomes in terms of getting admission in some of these prestigious engineering and medical colleges. We were very excited about that, and also the fact that company had been growing significantly in the last 4-5 years of their existence. Truly, it's a business which, under their leadership with Vinay and his wife, has the potential to grow at least 4-5 times over next 5-6 years.
Okay, and for the benefit of our viewers, take us through the work that Avendus does with a lot of the mid-market players, just to sort of snapshots, to sort of highlight the work that you do with them and the kind of financing options that you made available to other players in the market, the mid-market players that we talk about.
So look, we are a pure structured debt solution provider, which essentially means that from range of situations we can evaluate and look, right from typical holding company situations where there's a private equity investor sitting wanting an exit. We can step in, provide financing in a manner which really works for the shareholder or promoter. Helps them consolidate their shareholding in the company, and then monetize at a point in time when they have actually optimized the valuation of the underlying business, right? So it could be a private equity takeout, it could be growth capital in the operating company itself, it could be acquisition finance. If the company is looking to acquire some business, we can actually step in and provide financing, and so on and so forth. even at an operating company level, we can actually step in and provide innovative, interesting solutions, from a financing perspective.
Okay.
Essentially, the capital is very, very flexible, the way we, put it on the table, as opposed to conventional and traditional sources of, debt capital, which is banks, which, for a variety of reasons, come in a very straitjacketed manner. I mean, you don't have the ability to sort of do too much in terms of, structuring that, right?
Okay.
So that's really where we add a lot of value and help these businesses to take them to the next level.
All right, on that note, we'll take a very short break, but lots more to discuss on Centrestage. Keep watching CNBC TV 18.
Centrestage.
Welcome back. You're watching Centrestage here on CNBC TV 18 with a focus on RAO IIT, one of the premier private coaching providers to Indian students. Let's dive right back into the discussion. Now, Sandeep has been very positive about the industry in general. Now, what do you think when I will propel this booming industry to maturity? Like you see a lot of the other corporate sectors where we see that this industry is now established, has a good set of rules, has a good set of players, and is a flourishing industry. What do you think will propel this industry to maturity?
This industry, like every industry we see, normally what happens is people try to come in, they try to do something, it goes to a stage, then actually it picks up. So today, if we see, there are players who have taken some private equity or some money, and they have tried to expand at pan-India level. So there are few players who are trying to expand like us, who are in the early stages of expansion. There are few players who have done it long back, but the real thing is that the opportunity has been created now. It is something like you see in the data space or something, when the opportunities are coming now, because in this space also, because the government initiatives of One India, One Exam, and in a medical, which is a big market, where they have made it NEET examination mandatory, and it is made to that extent that if you want to go abroad and study, still you will have to clear NEET examinations. So the idea is, with this kind of government mandate, it becomes important that players like us will get that boost, and normally because of the capital available to people like us or others who are aspirational, because of players like Avendus who make it possible. So what happens is, we see that those companies will grow, but because of good players also coming, we will become a structured player. Till date, 90% plus market is in a unstructured format.
Okay.
So that unstructured, where a child goes to one tutor, things are not standardized, syllabus completion is not standardized, knowledge level impartment is not standardized. So all these things will slowly shift to the structured players.
Okay. But has that brand perception evolved now, in the sense that coaching classes are, are seen as something, as not optional, but as something that you need to improve your test preparation?
I personally feel, if we talk, while talking, the acknowledgement is less, but in a personal one-to-one communication, the acknowledgement has increased.
Okay.
And we are the ones who are actual contributors for a mission like Make in India.
Okay.
Where we are creating quality individuals who will be tomorrow's spokesperson, tomorrow's industry leaders, tomorrow's thought drivers, and they are the one who will carry India beyond India to the world.
So what could help you in that mission? If you had a sort of wish list to give to policy makers to kind of improve your sector.
The schools are meant for board examination. The expertise of school is not for cracking competitive examination. And today, with number of limited seats and the aspiration level so high in the country, where everybody, the first thing what a parent or individual can give to their child is quality education, we act as a catalyst for the child to crack that competitive examination.
Okay.
So please acknowledge it, because today we have to understand that the role of coaching classes is beyond just trying to substitute a thing which is not available. We are actually in the process of creating good knowledge bank to the country from standard 8 to 12th.
Okay, Sandeep, you have anything to add in terms of suggestions on what could be done to improve this industry? Because obviously the industry improves, your investment stories also improve, and of course the returns are also greater. What in your opinion could be some things that could improve this industry?
So I think lots being done, and there is a lot of impetus from the government, especially this One India, One Exam, which has come into force, which is also forcing consolidation, which is helping some of the bigger players become even bigger. And there is the concept of brand which is coming along because of that reason. In fact, we had checked the market, from the student community, and we found there was a high degree of recall when it came to RAO, and they had very good things to say about.
So that corporatization is going to help the industries, that needs to be encouraged in your opinion.
That should be encouraged big time, because that's what's going to help some of these businesses scale up and get better in terms of what they're doing at this point in time.
All right.
Which will have a trickle-down effect in terms of the next generation which is being prepared to help and propel the country in terms of the economic growth and availability of skilled manpower. I mean, there's so many things.
Capitalizing on that demographic dividend that we're talking
capitalizing
about.
on the demography, because demographic, it can be a dividend. It can also be equally.
It can be a loss as well if it's not properly
managed. If it's not properly, curated. So I think some of these initiatives by the government will go a long way in terms of, helping and improving the quality of education and coaching which is being imparted to some of these students.
All right. And shifting focus, take us through some of your expansion plans. You mentioned it in brief. Give us a bit of a detail on, you already have 40 plus learning centers across India. So what's your expansion plan looking like?
In the coming year, we intend to cover Gujarat, and we also intend to cover the South India exhaustively, like Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Chennai, these places like Thiruvananthapuram.
Okay.
So these are the cities where we intend. In coming 4 to 5 years, we want to make sure that we cross minimum 100 plus centers in the country, and we create a student base of 3 lakh plus students in the classroom program alone.
Okay, and in terms of education streams, are you looking to diversify from engineering and science to other fields as well? And also the age category of students, are you looking to diversify in that aspect as well?
As far as the age category of the student goes, we feel that from 12th to down, don't go up. Because graduation or post-graduation opportunities we see less, and it is not our forte. We are used to dealing with a particular age group of students and their parents. But we see that we will come down from 5th standard, to 12th standard, whichever student base is, we will capture the entire schooling also subsequently, parallel schooling education, plus subsequently we may go for other options like law or commerce. These remain in pipeline, but schooling immediately, I think within a year or two, will be executed.
Okay, and also take us through your online learning program and how you've managed to garner more than 1 lakh subscribers.
We are very proud to say that we are the only offline coaching, a big coaching, offline coaching class, which has more than 1,27,000 active subscribers on our YouTube channel. And that has been because for last 5 years we have put a lot of, you can call it investment, a lot of effort from our end, and we have made more than 2,000 videos. Each and every lecture, right from 6th standard to 12th standard, is there on our portal, and we have been delivering the lectures which are required by the students, aiming the competitive examination.
Okay.
The problem is, like, the child don't want just a concept. The child wants that if I miss this class, you give me something so that my class is taken care. Or if when I'm learning, give me something where I can just play that video and my lecture gets completed, I get that thing which is needed. So we could essentially understand that this is going to be the requirement of the students. So we have made that. Now all the concepts in those lectures, we have started that work already. We are making in an animated format.
Okay.
And all the lectures are made by our team members. We have also got a lot of accolades from outside India. We have got from most of the places where students are staying, like we have got from USA, Middle East, and so many other countries. Plus, what is more good or satisfying is that now we have started monetizing it.
Okay. So it's an always on, learning model which gives you options to diversify,
yes,
new revenue generating models,
right,
which can kind of help
as a company, we intend that there's a lot of talk, like it will go totally online, offline will not be there. Some players say it will be offline, will be there. We are of the opinion it will be hybrid
model.
Model. So it will basically a hub and spoke model, where let's say tomorrow we may have 300 to 500 centers, and all the other students plus the students in the classroom will also get this add-on facility of online thing. That is how it will complement the learning process and enhance the student skills.
All right. Now, before I come to my last question, what differentiates RAO IIT from its competitors? Just in a simple, one paragraph brief, if you had to summarize, what you feel about them that differentiates them from other players in this sector, what would those highlights be for you, Sandeep?
So, like I said, it's the whole approach towards coaching, which is to create a corporate. A true corporate, and corporatize the entire coaching as a business. Make sure that it's consistent, whether it's in Vapi or it's in Lucknow or it's in Delhi or it's in Bombay, right? That's, I think, a huge differentiator that they bring on the table, as opposed to some of the other coaching institutes and classes.
Okay, and when a summary statement to end this discussion, what does the future look like for the industry and for RAO IIT? What would you say?
A future will be very dynamic, I would say. It will be a growth story for the players who provide quality and for the players who provide a solution to the student's problem. As RAO IIT, we want to be the solution provider to the student's problem and a value adder to the parents' money.
All right, provide answers to problems. That's the simple motto of the way forward. On that note, I think we'll wrap up this discussion. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us for this very eye-opening view on the coaching industry, of course, and of course the performance of RAO IIT. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap on the show on Center Stage with a focus on RAO IIT. Thank you so much for tuning in for this special presentation. Keep watching CNBC TV 18.
Center Stage. Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.